There was once a man who lived a very normal life. He woke up at 6, brushed his teeth, went to work, laughed at jokes he didn't find funny. He was, as they say, well-adjusted. But one day, something happened. Something small, barely noticeable, but enough to tear a hole in the fabric of his reality. It began with a question, whispered, not spoken. What if none of this is real? At first he brushed it off. Everyone feels disconnected sometimes, right? But the feeling grew, like a splinter in his mind, like the hum of a frequency just out of reach. One morning as he looked into the mirror, he didn't recognize himself. It wasn't amnesia. He remembered his name, his job, his address. But behind his eyes, there was a stranger. He began to see the world differently, not through his eyes, but through something deeper. Patterns emerged. People repeating the same conversations, the same gestures, day after day. It felt scripted, as if reality wasn't alive but programmed, like he was inside a play and no one else knew it was a performance. Was he going mad or waking up? The book had no author, no cover, no copyright, just questions. Who told you what love is? Who benefits from your obedience? If your thoughts are not your own, who do they belong to? He closed the book, heart pounding. He looked around. The store was empty. Had it always been? Signs were everywhere now. Or maybe they'd always been. He just wasn't seeing them before. That night he couldn't sleep. He wandered the city until he found an old man feeding pigeons in the dark. He asked, "Do you ever feel like none of this is real?" The old man smiled. "Most people feel that once, then they bury it. You didn't. That means you're close." Close to what? To seeing the truth. The man began to strip away everything he'd been taught, not just beliefs, but identity. He let go of his job, his possessions, even his name. People called him crazy. His friends vanished. But he kept going, because for the first time in his life, he wasn't surviving, he was searching. He found others, not many, but enough. They spoke not in facts, but in parables. They didn't offer answers, only questions that unlocked doors. One of them, a woman with eyes like twilight, said, "To see truth, you must first destroy the self that clings to lies." He asked, "And what lies have I believed?" She whispered, "That you are separate, that you are small, that you are powerless." In silence he broke, he shattered, and in that breaking, he remembered he was not the mask, not the body, not the name. He was the watcher, the dreamer. He was reality dreaming itself into form. When he returned, nothing had changed, and yet everything had. People still hurried, still chased things they couldn't name, but he no longer judged them. He smiled, because he knew they were all still dreaming, and one day perhaps they too would hear the question, what if none of this is real? And now, dear listener, you've heard it too. What you do with that question is up to you. Most people will turn away, and that's okay. Not everyone is meant to wake up all at once. The illusion is comfortable, and comfort is addictive. It tells you that safety lies in sameness, in certainty, in never asking too much. And so, they go on, eyes open but not seeing, ears listening but not hearing. But then there are others, the few, the ones who can't unsee what was glimpsed, not because they're better, but because the illusion has already cracked and light is leaking through. Awakening is not an event. It's a process, and it hurts. You'll lose things, friends, certainty, sometimes even your mind, at least the one that kept you asleep. But in the silence that follows, you'll hear something new. Not a voice, not a command, but a knowing, subtle, quiet, unshakable. A knowing that you are not the dream. You are the dreamer. The man in the story, he wasn't special. He didn't have powers. He didn't discover a hidden code. He simply stopped pretending. And in doing so, he remembered what the world had tried so hard to make him forget. that he was free, that he always had been. Not free in the way you've been told, not in money or movement or speech, but in awareness, in being. Because when you become aware of the illusion, you are no longer bound by it. So if you're still here, still listening, then something inside you remembers too. Maybe not clearly, maybe just a flicker, but that's enough. Let it grow, not through force, but through surrender, through curiosity, through the quiet rebellion of asking, what else have I accepted without question? Because once the dream begins to break, it can never truly hold you again. You were never meant to fit in. You were meant to wake up.
If this made you pause, if you're drawn to deeper truths and quiet strength, then you're in the right place. Like, subscribe, and keep exploring with us. See you in the next one.